One. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Christopher, how you doing? Thanks for joining me.
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Oh, I see Marco joining. Let me pause. All right, Marco, great to see you. Welcome. And guys, jump in with questions, comments anytime. I've got till the top of the hour, so I really got to jam. And this is a recording for you, whoever's watching. Thank you for watching this video. This is in preparation for the press conference tomorrow, which would be March 11th. So I'm going to screen share, and I really am going to depend on you guys to just jump in, even if I'm mid-sentence, just jump in. Hey, Jamen, question, comment, emotional outburst, whatever. Screen sharing. And what's that? All right, let me get this.
Jamen, can you pause recording for a second?
Yeah, 1 sec. All right, welcome Miranda, and everyone please ask questions whenever you have questions. I'm gonna go ahead and screen share and draw some pictures. And before I do that, look, the basic idea of what I want to convey is that what I'm going to get to is collective superintelligence applied to saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth, which is the holy grail and insanely urgent right now because we're just on this downward spiral as a planet, as a species, politically, economically, ecologically, you name it. We're going down, down, down. All right, that's just one perspective. And yeah, you could say it's bleak and all that, but I mean, the house is freaking on fire. The ice is melting. Temperatures are skyrocketing. We're almost out of ice. You know, if this doesn't spell emergency, I don't know what does. And I'm not going to try to be poetic about it or wax philosophical or spirit. Bleh. No, it's time to freaking set this ship right or it's going down. It's really kind of that simple. All right. So with that emotional outburst, how am I going? What am I proposing? Okay, so if that's where I want to get to, is getting us to a place, humanity to a place where we can apply collective superintelligence to saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth. I'm going to present a picture of what that looks like. But first, I'm going to talk about some precursors to getting there. Okay, and different kind of stages of precursors. So like a few stage, 2 or 3 or 4 stages of precursors, I'll just see how it flows, or let's co-create it together, ask questions. Hey, say, hey, Jim, and what have you thought about this? That's all good. And then we'll in the next 5 or 8 minutes or whatever, we'll finally get to the heart of it, which is the application of collective superintelligence for saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth. Any questions or comments before I go there? Screen share? Okay, I'm gonna screen share and draw some pictures. Here goes. Why doesn't it show QuickTime? All right, let me see what I gotta do here. I think I might know the answer. Okay. Okay, and let me know how this looks when you see it. Okay, here goes. Does this occupy enough of the screen or does it need to be stretched? Here, I'm going to try stretching it. Tell me if
that's, you can go a little more, at least on my screen.
Okay, I'm going to stretch it a little bit more. Actually, let me try this. Is that any better?
I don't think that changed anything.
Okay, all right. Well, let's just go with it then. So what are the precursors, right? Precursor number 1 is, you know, people have to want to be here, right? People are checked out, committing suicide. People are, and they have to want to be here and they have to want to, you know, help, right? But it feels to me like a lot of people are checked out and in some form or other of, you know, fight, flight, freeze, right? They're either fighting the game, trying to make money, for example. They're totally checked out, getting stoned, watching Netflix, or they're just frozen and just like bewildered, right? And we basically,
Jamen,
huh?
Jamie, you know,
Yeah.
I think there's one more there.
What's that?
Many are either blissfully ignorant or still holding on to the lies we've been told.
I would call that frozen. They're frozen in time, right? I'll just say holding lies.
I had a conversation today with one of my doctors about animal agriculture and the lie we've all been told that we need to eat meat. And he said, and he came up with well, why do we have incisors?
Why do we have what?
Incisors, the pointy teeth, the two pointy teeth we had.
Oh, yeah. See, they're frozen in a story, right? Of course we have pointy teeth so we can eat meat, because when we were evolving, you know, 500,000 years ago, in the Ice Age or whatever, other game was the only game in town. So, you know, we evolved under a certain set of circumstances. Now there's 8 billion of us and we're almost dead. You know, we're just in a whole different realm. But these are people who are frozen in a story. So it's fight, flight, or freeze, right? And in some cases, they're combined, like they're fighting for an old story, right? But in any case, they're not like really wanting to be here, fully present, wanting to help, like in the game, right? So that's step number one, is you got to want to be here and you got to want to help, right? And you have to get beyond fight, flight, or freeze. And that's kind of a toughie. So, but we'll come back to that because we have to look at this holistically. Another is that you have to have agency, meaning, yes, we can change this. See, because a lot of people are frozen in an old story that, oh, you can't change this, you can't change that. The best you can do is get a good job, save up for retirement. I mean, they're just frozen in some old story. We have to have agency that we can transform life on Earth. We can save life on Earth. We can heal life on Earth. So, you know, that's absolutely crucial. I'd say those are really the two main precursors. You have to kind of want to be here in the real game, playing the real game of transformation, of saving and healing and transforming life on Earth. And you have to believe, right, that we have agency. This is a belief, right? Okay, so from here, any other comments, or let me go back to video so we can see each other. Let's see. Okay. Any other like precursors to just like how does a person, an individual, really get into the game so that we can say, okay, oh, you're here, you're awake, you have agency, you want to be here, you want to help transform. Great, let me introduce you to the core thing, right? Because that's where we want to get to. But if people are like, no, I don't really want to be here, or no, I don't think anything can change, or no, man, I just want to get high, and you know, then they're really not ready for what's coming next, right? Now, I'm not saying I have the answers to how do we get people out of fight, flight, freeze, and how do we get people to believe that they have agency. I kind of want to get to that after I talk a little bit more about the core, right? But let me jump into the core, right? And then we can see how we might help people get into the core. Okay, so let me go back to screen share. Keep asking questions, please. Questions, comments, etc. Very important. Okay. So I'm going to now show a picture that may look really messy, and I talked about this on Monday. Actually, Marco, I think you were there.
Yeah, I saw this too.
And Christopher. Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. So the core of it is that we go on a spiral. Let me just draw a fresh picture of a spiral. So the spiral it's going to kind of look like this. With each pass of the spiral, we cover the same circular, like if you look from the top down on this thing, it looks like a circle. It's going to look like this. And there's all these key, we're going to just go chunk by chunk, box by box through this circle. And then we get back to the beginning to know the place for the first time, and we start again. So we go through the whole loop, get back to the beginning, and then we start for another pass. I'll just do it in a different color. Then we go for the second pass, which will be let's just call it the green pass, right? And then we get back to the beginning and then start again. I'll call it blue. But you see, each time we have the benefit of our previous laps, and we just keep lapping and lapping and lapping and lapping, because the whole of it is the core of the application of collective superintelligence to saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth. So let's just go through, let's do one lap really quickly. That's part of the idea. So we do the first lap really quickly, just kind of give everyone a taste of the space. And then on the second lap, we can go deeper, and the third deeper. So again, you've passed the first hurdles of you want to be here, you want to be in the game, you want to help save, heal, and transform life on Earth, and you have agency, and you say, yes, we can do this. Now let's do it. The first one, I'm just going to dim this down a little bit. Okay, the first one is collective intelligence. What is collective intelligence? What is the big basic idea of collective intelligence, right? Evolving to become collective superintelligence. It's basically where we come together, and through a network of conversations, actually, I'm just going to point to the 5-minute video. Help remind me that I got to point to that in this YouTube video. No, I think I'll include it. I won't forget, but help me not forget. Okay. Watch that 5-minute video. That's the basic idea of collective superintelligence. And then the next thing we want to talk about is, well, great, to what end? Saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth. What does that mean? Okay. Next one, and this is a great quote from the American Revolution, to the time of my ancestor, William Whipple, one of the signatories of the Declaration of Independence. If this is treason, let's make the most of it. Okay, we're committing treason against the old paradigm, the old model, neoliberalism, capitalism, hoarding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, ego, separation, money. We're committing treason against all that. We're getting radical. What does that mean? I mean, we're basically overturning the whole thing. If you really have agency and really want to be in the game and really get what's at stake here, you realize we have to transcend, go beyond, and replace the old system with something totally new. Next is a tale of two strategies. There's two fundamental strategies, the people strategy and the planet strategy, and they go together. And both those strategies, V for Vendetta style, they're two rows of dominoes, but the first two trains of what do you call them? Chains of dominoes or whatever that all trip each other. Boop, 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 boop. But they both have a common starter domino, which is feeding everyone plant-based foods. That's the first step towards healing people and the first step towards healing the planet, right? Not the only steps, but the first ones. The people train goes on, and I probably have a good YouTube video on this, so I'll point to that too. In fact, let me just make a little note. This will make it easier. Whenever I have a video, so we need a video for CI and a video for people and planet. The people one is basically about meeting all human needs: food, water, shelter, healthcare, transportation, yada, yada. The planet one starts with ending animal agriculture, because that's really just crucial, and it can be done immediately, like in a week. Seriously, we can all go plant-based, and then it's followed immediately by solar radiation management, cooling the planet through SRM. Okay, all right, great. Those are the strategies. Where do we start? Well, we start here. Whoops. Why does it always happen? We start here with this pointing to the left, all these 4 squares that we just came from, and here where we're going. In other words, we start with the spiral. We start with a conversation about the spiral that spirals around all these key topics. That's where we start. And it's so powerful, as we'll see as we continue. But first, let's get through the first lap, and then we can talk about how powerful it is. And then we can talk about how do we get more people in to this game, if this is indeed the game. And by the way, this is my design of the spiral. What's your design? What's missing? What do we need to add? What do we need to change? Etc. Shoot, it's almost the top of the hour. Well, let me just, we'll just, huh?
And right now, we're not seeing your drawing.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. When was the last time you were seeing it?
A minute ago.
A minute ago. Okay, no problem. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I came back here to talk with you guys. All right. Here goes. Now we're back on it. Screen share. Okay. Okay. What I call preschool and kindergarten. Preschool is we have agency. Kindergarten is we have choice. We can take that agency and choose, right? At the level of species. And yes, we can. This gets back to some of those precursors we talked about. But you see, we need to help our fellow human beings get through preschool and kindergarten before they can get here to the core of this. These 2 strategies of people and planet contain liberation. Liberation is key. Liberation of humanity from the all-day monopoly game of hoarding and ego and individualism, et cetera, right? Let's talk about the different pathways to liberation. I think liberating humanity by providing every human being with all basic needs is essential, because right now there's a death penalty for losing the all-day monopoly game. The Hunger Games really does a much better job of depicting all this than I had given it credit for in the past. You lose the game, you die. And ultimately, there's only one winner to the Hunger Games: who can hoard the most and basically kill everybody else. All right. And I'm just boiling it down to its essence. Let's cut the crap and call the game what it really is. It's the Hunger Games. Pre-dominoes. Well, before we get the dominoes tripping, we first need to, have this conversation, develop this medium of collective superintelligence. Everything starts with conversation. This one's not going to end with conversation, but it's got to start with conversation, because if we don't come together and talk and collaborate, right, and hash out the details, we're not ready to act. We're not ready to act well. But it's an iterative thing. The spiral is an iterative thing. Working the spiral, we'll talk more about that. Now, putting together some of these previous elements: collective intelligence, the strategies of people and planet, right? And bringing people into this conversation. Those 3 combined are these 3: platform, collective superintelligence, strategy, and community. So let's talk about that. And bringing these 3 together constitutes a new story for humanity. What's the platform? Well, it's collective superintelligence, and it starts with the universal calendar, which is very simple, which we can do with 1995 technology, right? Technology that's a quarter century old. This is not a problem. We just have to do it, right? Once we have that, then we can start recruiting. And by the way, this is what the press conference has been missing, is this universal calendar. Once we have that, we can go recruiting. My name is Harvey Milk, and I'm here to recruit you. We are in search of ISO people, right? to get into the game. Now,
sorry, Jamie, sorry to interrupt. Can I ask you what the universal calendar is?
oh yeah, so the universal calendar is a calendar. Let me get back on camera here. It's a calendar of all of the open house conversations, all the open houses. And in fact, let me make another blue circle for that, meaning for the press conference. Let me link to that hairy guy video, right? Because that basically helps draw people in and recruit them to what? Well, they first have to express themselves and say, hey, I've got an idea. See, that's how people get into the game. They start talking about what they're passionate about. Because again, before people are really ready to listen, they need to be heard. I think that's a key to the entry point. I think the press conference is actually really great. Look at all the people that it got in and got them talking and saying, hey, let's do this. But we lacked the universal calendar then, and we're still lacking it. And that's part of the reason we have this partnership with CicoLab, is because they're much better at systems as a community than we are. We're really great at talking. We're really great at strategy, big picture stuff. But we get kind of lost in the cloud of smoke of all that and neglect the systems. They're really good at systems as a community. So that universal calendar is this crucial missing system. And that I really see it at two levels. One is at scheduling the press conferences and scheduling people into their respective 5-minute slots so they can get in there and say their piece, but then point them to an open house, which ideally is like a weekly meeting for an hour or two or whatever, where they say, okay, now we're going to get more into it. Everyone's welcome. I'll see you at the open house next Thursday, right? And every Thursday. And they can, and that's how they kind of start their own spiral on that, whatever that is. Okay. All right. Let me go back to screen sharing. Okay. All right. So once we have the press conference reactivated with the universal calendar and, with some other elements of this context that we're creating here, then we can really get out there and what I call lead the parade that already exists, but it doesn't have leadership. We go out there and pull a Harvey Milk and recruit to the press conference and, get them talking. And then as they get talking and everyone starts hearing each other through these short 2-minute or 5-minute bursts saying, hey, here's the latest update. Here's the essence. Here's what you need to know. And join me at the open house. Then people can look around and get more of a full scope of it, right? And within that full scope, they can learn about the spiral and the heart of it, right? Applying collective superintelligence to saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth. That's what I want to get up in front of the press conference and beat my chest about. But what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? What do you? Anyway, I think I'm hopefully making some sense here. Next stage is, let's say we've done all this portion of the spiral all the way up to here. The next step is reflection and feedback. Okay, how's it working? What do you think? Do you like it? Is there something missing? Right? And then we use that to backfill and add whatever is missing or transform or whatever. Then I think the next step that makes a lot of sense to me is an open space for totally different approaches in the context of this spiral, which is very specific. What's this spiral missing? Is it the right spiral? Is spiraling the right idea? Right? Is saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth the right mission? Is collective superintelligence the right thing? Okay. And then finally, after all that openness and getting all that new input, party time. It's time for the block party. We get together and hang out and party. Relax before we then start all over again and start the spiral all over again. Okay. So let me stop sharing. Okay. Can you imagine if we spiral and spiral and spiral and we're like improving the universal calendar, improving the press conference, finding easier, better ways to get people in, right? Helping people through preschool and kindergarten. Yes, you have agency. Yes, you have a choice. You can choose to be part of this revolution to save, heal, and transform life on Earth. You can help, you can understand the game. You can transform the game. We can overturn the game. Just like in the movie The Hunger Games. They ended up subverting the game, overturning it by coming together and saying, no, we refuse to kill each other. And then they just like, oh, what do we do? That evil head of it all, the guy played by Keith Sutherland, Donald Sutherland or whatever, they're what do we do? What do we do? Right? Can you imagine how powerful? We keep cycling on this, improving it, right? That's the revolution. This is the Constitutional Congress where we get together and lock the doors and don't come out until we've got agreement. Anyway, there's all these different ways of looking at it. But anyway, I think we're kind of answering our own. Now, this still doesn't answer the fundamental questions I posed at the beginning. How do we get people to overcome their fight, flight, freeze? Or fighting is when they're trapped in the game. Flight is when they just want to get out, not just out of this game, but out of this world. And the ultimate form of flight is suicide. And then freeze is where they're just like frozen in time or frozen in a paradigm, just like frozen in some religion or frozen in capitalism or frozen in whatever, right? I think fight and freeze are kind of close cousins. Frozen in addiction, whatever. So that's a big one. That's a toughie. Now, I think the press conference itself is a great way, because with the press conference, we're not saying, hey, it has to be this way. You got to be part of this radical spiral and revolution, and we got to overturn the whole thing. No. You can just say, hey, I'm coming to the press conference because I love permaculture. Great. See, these softer topics, right? Like meditation, breathing, going vegan, permaculture, ecotourism, whatever. These might be like easy, gentle on-ramps that can help people who are at different stages of fight, flight, freeze, or don't believe they have agency or whatever, get them into meditation, and they're like, whoa, I do have agency. I can change my life. Or, some self-improvement seminar or something. Oh, wow, I do have agency, right? I don't have to just be like Landmark Forum for me is a great example. It's just great for helping get people out of fight, flight, freeze and getting people to realize they do have agency. But anyway, the press conference really opens up space, and the universal calendar with all the open houses and all that opens up space for people. They're like a gazillion different possible on-ramps for people no matter where they are in life. Hey, come into this space of conversation, this infinite bizarre marketplace of all these different conversations and ideas. Now, within that bizarre, there's some hairy, crazy dudes who are like doing some spiral thing. Great. But it's not like we're pushing you into that, because it's a bit intense, right? It's like going up to a sixth grader and saying, hey, try acid, try it now. Don't wait till you're 30. That's a bit intense. People will, try the heavy stuff when they're ready, not when you're ready, and there'll be no pushing. The press conference just says, hey, this is what I'm doing, and here's where we're meeting, at the open house. If you're interested, join us. I'll be one of thousands of voices at the press conference. So be it. You guys can jump in and either say, hey, I really like Jamin's thing, but I think it's a bit too intense. So we're doing, the spiral light version, right? Whatever, or we're doing this, we're just going backpacking and we're just going to enjoy nature. Come join the backpacking society. That's how we transcend and get, okay, fine. It's all good. It's all good. And if the spiral is the shit, great. More people will come to the spiral and start spiraling with us, and we'll drill down and really develop collective superintelligence and develop these twin strategies of people and planet and feed everybody and all that. Great. That's my vision. Is it the best one? There is no best in biology, right? There are scorpions, there are crows, there are fungi, there are tapeworms. Everybody, they're humans. You know, every species has a role to play, right? Welcome to the jungle, right? I happen to think the spiral is a very important species. All these topics are like different species within the conversational sphere, right? Within collective superintelligence. I happen to think this is a really important one that's missing. Come join the spiral. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to talk more about all this, and we're going to get into the spiral, and we're going to start doing some loops. So please watch the rest of the videos that are pointed to below. Please join the press conference, join the conversation, get into it, and please share this video. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you love it, hate it, whatever, just share it. If you hate this and you hate me, great, share it even more. And maybe you can recruit other people to hate me along with you and hate this video and this message along with you. You know, let this be that thing that you love to hate, because I believe the more people who see this, more and more people are going to say, whoa, holy shit. You know, homeboy's onto something here. I don't like him. I don't like his hair. I don't like his headband. I don't like his accent. I don't like a lot of shit about him. But you know what? This is a conversation worth having, because the planet's overheating exponentially. The sixth mass extinction is proceeding exponentially, and there's some elements of truth to this. Okay, I got to find out more. Pull out the gold nuggets from the mud if that's what you want to do, but join the damn conversation, because we need to do something about the fact that we're going down so crazy fast, and people are dying, and species are going extinct. The last of the ice is melting. Polar bears are starving. And koala bears are getting barbecued. This is bullshit. We got to get on top of this. So jump in the game. If you have a better way, tell me. I'll redesign the spiral around your better way. I promise you, if you have a better way, I'll redesign my life around it. But we need to find the best way to save, heal, and transform life on Earth. And part of that is waking up our sisters and brothers who are either asleep or in fight, flight, freeze. And asleep is just another form of flight. They're just, I just can't deal. I can't deal. I gotta flee. I gotta flee. I gotta watch Netflix. I gotta smoke weed. I've been there. We've all been there, right? This is some rough shit. The Hunger Games is a rough, place to be. Well, that's where we are. We've got to get out of it. We've got to come together. And those of us who are awake and in the game and really want to be here and really feel the agency and are feeling the pain really deeply and are really committed to doing something about it, we're the ones who need to lead the others. And I think the spiral is the best vehicle, collective superintelligence, with this clear intention and with some badass strategy. Now, I'm all about hearing your strategy and your strategy. Let's synthesize them and come up with the best strategy. There's got to be a best strategy. How do I know that? Because looking back from 2050 and 2100 and 2200 and 2500, they're going to look back and say, how the hell did they do it? How did they snatch life from the jaws of defeat back in 2021? Well, they fed everybody, or well, they educated everybody, or well, they, quarantined everybody and got rid of the virus, and then they did something, right? That's a strategy. Whatever they did that enabled them to survive, that was the strategy. Well, our job right now is to figure that strategy out, because we don't have the benefit of looking back from 2100. We can only imagine it. We have to put our heads together, and I think the spiral is the best damn way to do it. What else? And the press conference is the best way to get people into the spiral. I think. I can't think of a better way.
Yeah, I don't have a better way now. Persistence and the facts, the evidence is everywhere. And do we, and if people don't think that we are in this sixth mass extinction, I think most people, even religious people, will bend to the science. It shows over and over again. We've had, ice age and tropical age and ice age and tropical age. Each time, life essentially comes to an end and has to start from very small beginnings again. Every society we've had, and we're finding more and more buried under the, the new growth. Do we want to be just, found under the rubble one day, or do we want to be here forever? Do we want to survive? And the only way we're going to do it is with persistence, getting the message out. And if it takes being in the spiral, we'll be a little dizzy, but we'll survive. Yeah, I'm not ready to just party till it's over. We can,
Yeah.
we need to have some fun once in a while, but we got to stick with the work that has to be done. I'm not ready to just give up and party till it's over.
See, partying is built into the spiral. I think it's healthy, and that's why we have the block party and El Puente and all that, and freaking, I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, partying is a exuberance over having the agency that this whole system allows, as opposed to partying as an escape from, like, everything's fucked. So, excuse my French, but yeah, I think that's a great way to party.
And fortunately, the conversation isn't the only place where these things are happening. CicoLab, our partnership there, and there's got to be thousands of more out there. There, and if the spiral draws us together, that's worth it alone.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, this is a great start. I do have to go. I'm going to pause recording. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching and participating. Thank you, Marco, Christopher, Miranda. It's been super awesome. Really appreciate your inputs and being here. And you, whoever you are watching this video, join us on the press conference. See the Zoom link below. All right.
We want you.
We need you here. No matter where you're at, we'll work with you. All right. Love to all. See you tomorrow.